Broads Media.
Seven straight for your Sixers. The classic, let's sleepwalk through the first half because the team we're playing blows. That's what happened. You just faced your biggest rival, the Boston Celtics. Now you have to play in some stupid-ass tournament in the regular season on a dumb-ass court. Nobody even knows what the hell's going on with this. But we have to play a team in Detroit that has no buzz whatsoever. Of course the first half is going to look that way. But here's Nick Nurse making adjustments. Cunningham didn't get the same looks. You applied pressure. Now, this was a physical game, and I thought once they acknowledged, all right, we're going to do this. Okay, it's going to be this. Then Joel Embiid dipped into his bag, and Tobias was super stellar once he turned it around. Maxey, 10 assists, 0 turnovers again. The dude is absurd. I can't believe it. Even the people that were aggressive towards me when I said I didn't know if he'd be able to play point like that in this league, even those that said give him a chance and had more optimism than I did, there's no way in hell you could have imagined a world where he was producing at this rate. This is special. You could be one of the best point guards ever. I mean, that's seriously what the trajectory is. If this is what he's doing so early in role with this position under Nick Nurse, you could be the best ever level of statistics. Now, will this keep up for the rest of time? I sure hope so. But man, what a world we're living in, and what a crazy, crazy, crazy game. All right, let's talk about my friends at HelloFresh before we continue this breakdown, because a crazy schedule can make it easy to fall back into your dinner time recipe rut. Keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. HelloFresh does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep, they're pre-portioned, and they're ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. How easy is that? HelloFresh is also 25% less expensive than takeout, so that means you get an easy home-cooked meal on the table and even more money back in your pocket. Go to HelloFresh.com/50broads and use code 50broads for 50% off and free shipping. That's code 50broads for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. My wife and I are obsessed. I can't even tell you how obsessed we are. Every night, what are we doing tonight? Well, I'll tell you what we're doing tonight. We're doing the shrimp and mushroom risotto. We're doing the shepherd's pie. We're doing the flatbreads. You name it, we're doing it. You know what's in the fridge. We're going HelloFresh, and you should too. Make sure you join the HelloFresh family. All right, the third quarter rolled around. They were down 16. They battled back. And the third quarter, they put up a 35 spot, which was nice. And, it gets to the point where you're putting in role players to play the final 2 minutes of the game, the edge of the bench guys. That's what happened. So that's the flip. That's the turnaround. That's how badly they started to just destroy them in the second half. Joel Embiid was nuts. Now, I got to the free throw line. I thought once they realized it would be a tougher physical game, Joel brought it on. Okay, fine. You want to do that? We'll do that. I don't know if you want to wake up the beast, but if you want to wake up the beast, let's get down in the paint. Let's start getting down low. Let's start working our will. And he dominated, obviously, but he went to the line 19 times. He had 16 boards, and that wasn't really the case in the beginning. If you went back to the halftime stats, you could see they were getting out-rebounded. They got out-rebounded 29-20, so they were getting worked on the glass by that team. That's a joke, all right? That's a piss-poor performance with your effort if you're letting the Detroit Pistons go up and grab some boards and some second-chance options. No. And at the time, Maxey and Embiid were 6 of 21 from the floor with only 3 bench points. And it's a classic spot for a team to have one of those nights that you absolutely don't show up. because it was such a highly emotional game at the Wells Fargo Center. And I'm sure everybody saw some of the screenshots of how dead it was in that arena. There's not a Detroit Pistons fan that thinks it's a good idea to spend their hard-earned cash to go watch that team play right now. They are bums, right? No Cunningham will change the difference. And what an effort to get into his grill and change the trajectory of his night. That type of stuff is Nick Nurse. It is. And I heard him speak after the game. And I got to really embrace some of his press conference. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember what he said about Tobias Harris. He was asked about Tobias Harris. I don't even remember what he said. But I remember telling myself that, man, I love listening to this guy talk. I think I was so enamored by his description on what he saw about the way it started and some of his rotations, which I know you could definitely maybe wonder about some of the things that he did in the first half, but he was explaining his thought process and how he wanted to change things and make sure the next time they enter the fourth quarter, at the end of the third quarter, he needs to have Tobias in a specific spot. But the way he thinks the game, I'm listening to his methodical thoughts, and this is the beauty of Nick Nurse. So once again, I really don't even remember the exact details other than he wanted to make sure his rotations were set better between the third and fourth, but that's Nick Nurse. That's why he's so exciting and so ridiculous, and these third quarters have been a blast to watch because he studies what he sees, he goes back to the drawing board, and then he implements something completely different to set a different tone and for this team to grab onto it. And then you go watch the Clippers. Go watch the Clippers against the Dallas Mavericks. Let me know how that's going. Man, and did you all hear what happened and what occurred on the Dallas Mavericks broadcast? I wasn't going to do this, but we'll adjust on the fly. Call me Nick Nurse, okay? Call me the head coach of the Sixers who knows how to think on my toes. I'm going to play it for you because it's that great. It's that outstanding. I am going to play for you what was mentioned on the broadcast of the Dallas Mavericks about James Harden. This is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. Oh, sorry. That was a blog post. Here's the actual clip. All right. It's 2 minutes, but it's 2 minutes well worth it. Seriously, this is beautiful. And I'll drink my coffee while we listen. Now, I don't know if I'm going to keep that in or not because there was some music playing in the background that might hit me with some copyright. I didn't expect that to be so loud. So another adjustment on the fly if I do take it out. Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse. Who doesn't love Nick Nurse? Nick Nurse makes me love basketball more than I ever thought I could love basketball, and it's great. Now, remember before when we were dealing with this James Harden drama, Daryl Morey stinks, the ownership group is a problem, blah, 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 blah. And I would always fight back saying, what's the job of ownership? Well, I would love a Jeffrey Lurie, and I would love a John Middleton, people who are involved in this city like no other. There are some owners out there that have a different business model, but it doesn't mean their business model isn't worthy, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't work, because there are a lot of teams. The New Jersey Devils aren't some disgusting franchise, and we'll see what the Washington Commanders become, but I bet you it's a lot better with this ownership group than it was with their previous regime. And I said, look at what happened in Camden. Look at their facilities. Look at what they provide for this team. If we want a star, they're willing to pay a star. Joel Embiid needs cash. Maxey's going to need cash. By the way, how many steals did that guy have? Speaking of steals, Robert Covington in 14 minutes had 4 steals. Him in this role, I'm all about it, man. I'm all about it. In the past, when he had to be this premier defender, this, the role players on this team is special. Now, Pat Bev had some neck injury stuff. I haven't seen an update on him. Hopefully, it's not anything too serious that keeps him out too long, because he does provide a spark. He does play that bad, tough, bad boy Pistons, bad boy energy that, we admire in this town. But yeah, anyway, my point of the Morey stinks and Harris is bad. Are they bad now, or did you just have a new head coach come in here and be a force? It was always about, I'm not blaming Joshua Harris for Ben Simmons. I'm not blaming Joshua Harris for James Harden. Their play is their play. And when they're not performing, it's not going to look good. It's not because they're bad at what they're supposed to provide. Their job is to provide X, Y, and Z off the floor. And that's what they did. You get Daryl Morey in here. People are like, oh, Daryl Morey stinks. Does he stink? Because now Nick Nurse is here, Maxey's here, and now all of a sudden the team wins 7 straight. And this was a game that they would lose in the past. This was a game where it's like, okay, they had such a great win, and of course they stab you in the back because they fail and there's a big flop against a opponent that isn't very good. And, this is the difference. But now all of a sudden they're great at their jobs, or what? Oh, they got lucky and they're still bad at their jobs and they just happen to find the best coach. No, they were never as bad as you told everybody and told yourself that they were. You just have pieces in place now that are executing a lot better and a lot differently and getting rid of some of the drama that was stuck in your locker room. Watching the Clippers fail this miserably is extremely exciting from my eyes and from my mouth to yours. I'm explaining that to you. It's outrageous. And I think sometimes, and I'll put my hand up and acknowledge that maybe I did, you can get sucked into the enamor of the names that we see. James Harden, that name when you were with Ben Simmons and you needed to get rid of that and bring in another talent, yeah, you could get sucked into that. And maybe Clippers fans believed, if there are any Clippers fans out there, I don't know, that this would work and all this. And now they're saying, oh man, do we get sucked into it too? At this rate, yeah, the track record and the resume speaks for itself. And I'm more willing, as the days go by, to let this thing run its course and see what they can do with maybe not another big star name, because whatever they have right now is clicking. Sometimes you need the right people in the right place, the right attitude, the right chemistry, and it might be guys that you never anticipated. Maybe it is Robert Covington at this stage in his career. Maybe it is Batum at this stage of his career, and the mesh works and the buy-in works and the head coach works, because every single guy who touches that floor, from the first guy off the bench, from the first starter, all the way down to the guy who DNPs, the way they approach their effort is like nothing we've seen before. And you could tell on a night-to-night basis, if they sleepwalk for a little bit of time, guess what? That guy's going to wake you the hell up. Nick Nurse will smack you around, and you bet your ass that second half will look different. The third quarter is consistently a totally different monster. Well, there's clearly a correlation between what Nick Nurse digests on the floor in the first half and all the changes he makes. Just look at Cunningham. It's now the third time I'm going to reference it, but there was something to be said about what he was doing and then how things changed once that third quarter rolls around. He is a monster, Nick Nurse. And what else is a monster is TickPick. They are the best service out there when you're looking to buy tickets and get yourself to a game to see this team live. To watch Joel Embiid do a fadeaway jumper with the game on the line, and to see Maxey flourish, not turning the ball over, hit a couple jumpers too. My man finished with 29 points, so another 40-minute effort, no turnovers, and almost 30 points with this 10 assists. He's a machine. He's a machine. But you can watch all this live. And if you click the link down below, the TickPick link, the code BRODES is already activated to that link. And if you spend over $99 on some tickets, you will get $10 off thanks to our friends at TickPick. And what's so special about them? They guarantee their prices are the best in the market. Their ticket prices will beat any of the major competing marketplaces. If you find the same seats elsewhere at a better price than TickPick, you will receive 110% of the price difference in the form of TickPick credit. And they also have upfront pricing, meaning there's no more doing the math in your head to prepare for how much extra you plan on spending on top of the listed price on other sites. There's nothing worse than saying, oh, my tickets are $102. Then you go to check out and it's $209. What the hell is going on? The price you see on TickPick is the price you'll pay at checkout, period, end of story. So make sure, whether it's the Flyers games, the Eagles games, your 8-1 Philadelphia Eagles, may I add, get yourself to one of these games and watch them with your own two eyeballs. There's nothing like that experience, and our friends at TickPick can help give you a push there. This tournament thing is stupid. I don't even understand it. And quite frankly, I don't care at all. I think it's dumb. It looks like I'm watching a game of basketball on a backgammon floor. The floor makes it less exciting for me. It's harder to watch. It's harder to pay attention. Now, I don't know if it was just because they were playing horrendous basketball or not, but there was something, for me, it was hard to actually pay attention because the floor was messing me up. All right, we have calls. We have texts. What do you want to do first? Calls, text? We'll rip a couple of texts, I guess, here. Sometimes I feel guilty because I don't give the text board as much love as I want to because the calls fly in and all that. But I'll give the text board some love first. If Maxey's doing this now, will it ever stop? Will it become 15 assists, no turnovers, 16 assists with no turnovers? I can see it. He doesn't stop learning. I would laugh at that, honestly. I'd say, come on, you're crazy. Come on, you're nuts. You're losing brain cells. In what world would a point guard in this league produce at that rate? But then I say, in what world is Maxey doing this now? It's 10 turnovers, no assists. What? And by the way, almost 30, not 15. All right, it's not one of those hollow double-doubles that Ben Simmons would give us. 11 points, 10 assists, and then 8 rebounds. Get the hell out of here. By the way, he does have a couple rebounds in the mix, too, so there is a little bit of effort on that side of the stat sheet there. Well, maybe 6 off the top of my head, 6 rebounds or so. It's getting flirted in there. Maybe by the end of this, if we're going to continue to grow, he will get triple doubles with 10 rebounds in about, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, maybe in about a month or so. Maybe when they hit game 25 of the season, we'll be looking down and seeing triple doubles every single damn night, but with 38 points. I mean, I can't rule it out. But in all seriousness, when will it stop? I don't know. This kid's different. Sometimes when you look at these upper echelon guys like LeBron, you can't describe LeBron being 96 and scoring 50 points in an NBA basketball game and flourishing and blocking guys and being the presence that he is. Sometimes with these greats, there's no making sense of it. Allen Iverson didn't make sense at that size to score the way he scored, to bring a team to the NBA Finals with that will. So, I don't know. Sure, 15, 14, 13, 16, 18, 22. I don't know. I don't know what it will be. I'm not putting a ceiling on it anymore. You know, at this rate, and call me crazy. You can call me crazy. Can he be better than Joel? Let that sink in. Can he be better than Joel Embiid? Oh, my God. That's the first time I ever said that out loud. That's the first time I ever thought about that. That just popped into the noggin. So I can admit it could be stupid. I haven't had enough coffee yet to really digest what I just said. But is it possible? I don't know. Embiid handled the chippiness, bro. His third quarters are entertaining. That's where things are all turned around. It has to be hard to face Boston, and then a few days later, you're playing in Detroit. I agree. Yeah, no, it's a thing. There's a lot of walk-through games. You know how the NFL has your walk-through practices? There's a few of those in the NBA when you see an opponent lined up on your schedule. And I don't care that this is the first game of a play-in tournament. That's not enough to fuel the fire and to give you that pump-up to go compete against the team. It's hard sometimes, all right? These 82 games, there's a reason why these players say it's too much. There's a lot of them, and there's a lot of them that don't matter. But if you can win 7 straight games and find ways to beat these teams, even if it's ugly, it tells me a lot about the makeup of what's in that room and the way that they approach the floor every single night. All right, another text here. How much stock do we put into Tobias? Can you expect this to last, or do you think he falls apart like normal? Well, I don't know if that's fair to say fall apart like normal. He played electric defense in years past. And I know it's not just about defense, because when Ben Simmons was here, I ripped the defense thing all the time if you can't produce offensively. But it was never as bad as what people said it was with Tobias. There were bigger issues at hand, whether it was Ben Simmons, whether it was James Harden in Game 6 and Game 7. There was a lot more to it than just, Tobias Harris. But sure, fine. Nick Nurse is better than any coach I've ever seen. I'm there with the Nick Nurse thing. How much stock do we put into Tobias? I think all of this. So Maxey's growth, I don't see it going away. Nick Nurse's ability to change the brand of this basketball team. I don't think that's going away. How much stock am I putting into Tobias? A lot. He's a damn good basketball player. And I think he's being put in positions, and the way that I think they're wiring him to play on this team under Nick Nurse, yeah, there's a correlation with all of this. With every player we're talking right now, there's a correlation between scheme and the tactician and what they're doing. And with Tobias, yeah, I think this is real. I think this is real. I think it's more closer to being real than it is being false, all because of the way everything clicks. These are puzzle pieces, and this coach has all the puzzle pieces perfectly aligned. I'm putting a lot of stock into Tobias Harris. Yeah, 100%. Okay. Before we take Zach's call in Baltimore, MyBookie. If you found a $100 bill on the ground, you wouldn't walk right past it. So why are you passing up on cashing winners every weekend? MyBookie has the biggest online selection of odds and contests to fill all your sports betting needs, anytime, anywhere. So you can turn that sports knowledge into cash in your wallet. Bet on the NFL, NBA, take a look at Joel Embiid's totals, scoring totals, Maxey's assist totals, and his scoring totals. It's cashing out left and right. The NHL, you could bet on, and you can play for a share of big cash prizes in the weekly blackjack tournaments. If you've been waiting for the right time to get in on the action, that time is right now. Make your winning move today so you can sign up at MyBookie and use promo code BROADS and claim your deposit match, redeemable up to $1,000. Again, that's promo code BROADS to claim your bonus. Experience the thrill of sports betting right from the comfort of your home. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Their information, like it all, is all down below in the description. Okay, let's go to Zach in Baltimore and see what he has to say.
Wow, this team is absolutely on fire right now. The way Nick Nurse has this team playing defense is beautiful. And, man, Tyrese Maxey, 11 dimes, no turnovers, a stud. I mean, this kid is amazing. Joel Embiid with an MVP performance, and Tobias Harris keeps playing beautiful ball. Man, I'm in love with this team right now. I mean, they're just playing beautiful basketball every night. It's a pleasure to watch them. Let's keep it going, baby. Let's go Sixers.
Perfectly said, Zach. Tobias with 24, the way it started compared to the way that it ended. Internally being able to flip that switch and say, hey, look, I got to be here tonight for my team. I got to figure something out. I got to battle through this, and he did exactly that. I normally don't watch any of those stupid talking head shows. That's just not my thing. But as I mentioned to all you guys a bunch before, I'm getting construction done in my house. And sometimes when I know they're working upstairs in this one area, I'll throw the TV on and I'll throw on ESPN just so there's some noise. And, you know, I know some of them are sportsmen. So whatever, I'll throw on ESPN. SportsCenter's on, then it turns to First Take, whatever. I went upstairs to make a cup of coffee, and they had a debate going about Giannis and Joel Embiid. And Stephen A's take on who was better was, there's no doubt Joel Embiid has the more raw, natural skill. But Giannis is more consistent in his game. But this is what he said, and it kind of threw me off. I know this is random, but whatever. We're on the end of the show here that we'll wrap up in a second. But it was about, okay, so you know Giannis isn't good at shooting. You know Giannis isn't good at making jumpers, and that's just a deficiency in his game. But what he does so well, he brings on a night-to-night basis. Whereas in Joel Embiid, you don't know what you're getting sometimes. He isn't always there, and sure, you can point out games where Joel unfortunately had a bad Game 7. I can't pretend that didn't happen. That happened. Now, to act like Giannis had an epic performance in every single basketball game he's ever had is unfair. And I'm sure if I look through some game logs, I'll be able to find something similar to that Game 7. I'm sure there is, all right? I'm sure. I just don't feel like doing that research. I'm sure there is because we're humans and everybody does. But anyway, regardless, even if your point stands true, right? The idea that, because I've watched Joel Embiid develop over the years, he used to blow at passing out of double teams. Blow. My point is, there were deficiencies at Embiid's game 5 years ago that are now becoming a weapon and something ridiculous that nobody can stop. You're giving Giannis a free pass. You suck at shooting the basketball. But because he sucks at shooting the basketball and we know it, then we just remove that from the equation and he does everything else well. Or you could demand your superstar to be better and to develop and to add to your game. Maxey adding to his game. Why does he not have to add to his game? No, Giannis tries, all right? We always talk about his willingness, especially during the Ben Simmons era. He is willing to shoot the ball. But there needs to be real, legitimate progression. Why do you just say, well, he's not good at it, so, I don't have to really monitor that or factor that into, is he better than Embiid? No, you have to. He's not a good enough shooter. He's not a good enough shooter. If Embiid couldn't pass, you'd be like, well, the guy just can't pass the basketball. He turns the ball over too much. But he's not good at passing, so we'll just pretend like that's not real and focus on what he does well. No, you'd be annihilating him, calling him a fool, calling him not good enough, not getting in the gym to work on the craft enough. Why does it work with one guy and not the other? I thought that was stupid. I don't know. That hit me a certain type of way. And then I remembered as I grabbed my cup of coffee and went down to the basement, I said, that's why I don't watch that garbage. That's why I don't watch that garbage. You should be watching Sports Talk with Bros and say, you know what I'm saying? All right, everybody, I love you to death. We're going to wrap things up. I love you. We got a game on Sunday against the Pacers. Probably see 8 straight. Just spitballing. We'll be talking then. See you on the next one.